VLîn DOIU. I'm the president of the Union of Bilateral Chambers of Commerce and Industry from Romania, and also the president of the Bilateral Chambers of Commerce Romania, Ukraine. Allowed me for today to open the session and to say a very warm welcome to our special guest, Mr. BURLACU. Rareș BURLACU is the chairman of Romanian Agency for Investment and Foreign Commerce, Romania. We have also Mr. Łukasz WOJDYGA, Deputy Director, Center for Strategy Studies, Warsaw, Enterprise Institute, Poland. We will have also here possibility to learn something from our distinguished guest, Professor Gheorghe BUTA, senior partner of the company Popescu and Associates, attorney at law. Thank you very much for being here. Also, we will have possibility to hear something from Mr. Mykola, TIMOFEEV, the Director General, Automagistral, Pivden, Ukraine. It's a construction company, but we will have the pleasure to follow some presentation, a short presentation from his side. And also we have Mr. Ivan Us, but I don't think that it's here. Mr. Ivan Us, Senior Research, National Institute for Strategic Studies from Ukraine. And we'll have the possibility also for, but we have here, hello. Thank you very much for being with us here, Mr. Us. And we will have also possibility to share some opinions with Ms. Olga SHUBINA-KURULENKO, head of the Coordination Export Support Centers, the Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ukraine. I will speak starting from now in Romanian because it's very easy for us to have a good translation and to use the support of our colleagues from Translation Service.
So today we have this opportunity given to us by the new Strategy Center to be here together and discuss about the challenges we're faced with at the current moment. Challenges generated by the reconstruction process of Ukraine, we all intend to be a part of. Of course, Ukraine is a neighboring country and a friendly state, and there are some 21 states that would be interested to take part in this reconstruction process. However, there are a series of things that we do not yet know. So, why should we take part in the reconstruction process of Ukraine? Another unknown is when should we start the engines, so to speak, at a national level as well? And another question, another big unknown we're trying to solve today is how. Because the previous questions have simpler answers, but when we ask how, we each have different visions, different ideas about the solutions that we could put into place. So the topic of this panel has to do with Romania's strategic role. In the morning and yesterday, in almost all the panels, we've discussed about the bilateral issues. However, we haven't yet touched upon the role and the effective importance of Romania. We have a colleague from Poland here who is an expert who will tell us more about about Poland, the economic tiger of Europe. And he will tell us more about the logistic support they provide for Ukraine. And this is as welcome as the support provided by Romania. So here you have it, Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic views, and we can discuss about Europe as well within this triad. We intend for the competition to be a solid and prolific one, and to open up towards the use of honest strategies, so that we may have a healthy competition between ourselves, and a competition that in the end will be beneficial for Ukraine. So I will give you now the floor to express your more general views about the challenges you think we're facing right now when speaking about Ukraine's reconstruction process. Because you see, Romania has taken part in operations in Syria, Iraq, or Kosovo. Wherever there was this need to help, we committed ourselves. And although we took those responsibilities, the Romanian business sector did not profit 100% from it. So I would now give the floor to Mr. BURLACU, because in the end it comes down to investment. Thank you, Mr. VLânDOIU, for your invitation, for having given me the pleasure to share views in this panel. I represent the Romanian Agency for Investment and Foreign Trade, and of course, our main mission is to attract direct foreign investment, to promote foreign trade, and to follow closely the activity of Romanian companies that take part in other countries. So this is a threefold mission, and it has to do with the reconstruction of Ukraine. Now, speaking about how we manage international aid, I am myself a university professor in Canada, in the Public Administration School of Quebec, and I teach there international governance ever since 2009. So, before getting to our topic and to realities in the fields, since I've noticed this is this conference leitmotif, that is to stay in touch with grassroots realities of the region in the given geopolitical context, I should first say that we witnessed the biggest reconstruction work right here in Europe after the Second World War. And with regard to the preparation work we could do, I remember that in 1945, a couple of months before the very end of the world, the big world players, especially Great Britain and the United States and the other allies, were getting together, especially in order to reconfigure the international financial system, so that Europe may benefit of the best governmental practices and benefit from funding. And we know all about Marshall's speech at Harvard University, where he announced the reconstruction plan for Europe. So way before the guns were silenced, people were getting together to set the financial stage, and we saw the creation of the World Bank and of the International Monetary Fund. Just like we did it back then, right now we should first start by stating that we need a banking integrative framework capable to manage the reconstruction process. And this framework will allow us to effectively manage the risks associated with such a laborious and complex process. And this framework will also allow our Ukrainian friends to then penetrate the international markets via their goods and products. Therefore, we need funding for the industry so that we may come with a swift response to the needs of the Ukrainian people that will be coming back from wherever they are right now to rebuild their country, so that we may have tangible, palpable results as soon as this process will be first operationalized. And Romania more so can contribute. You were asking the why. Why should we do it? Well, the answer is we should do it in order to contribute to our mutual prosperity, so that our regional interests should be strengthened, and so that we may never be faced with a military stance again. And I recently had the honor to contribute to an event, the Exportation Development Bank in Canada granted Romania an export credit line in order to fund the reactors 3 and 4 in the Cernavodă power plant. So, a month and a half ago, in this process, they clearly specified that this is done not only in order to allow Romania to become a major player, but also to give it the possibility to export energy. We will move on from 18 to 30% from nuclear sources, and so that Moldova and Ukraine can benefit also from this energy source that will be exported under safe conditions. So that's the kind of integrators that we need. And I would also like to touch a little bit upon the challenges to the public administration in this process, but I will do it a little bit later on. Thank you. Yes, we will also have an interactive dialogue, so you'll have an opportunity to delve deeper into it when we will open the debate. Before that, let us have the Ukrainian perspective right now. I would like to know, therefore, if we have an established connection with Mr. Ivan Us, Senior Researcher of the National Institute for Strategic Studies in Ukraine.
Thank you very much. Please tell us how is your opinion, how is your vision from the perspective of the challenges regarding the reconstruction process now in Ukraine?
So actually I want to start from the probably 2014 year when actually the war actually starts. And in that year, our Institute of Strategic Studies prepared the proposition what to do, and one of them was starting of something like the second version of the so-called Marshall Plan for Ukraine, because in the year 2014, we understand that it should be something like the previous one as the Marshall Plan after the end of the Second World War, give the opportunity to Europe to return to normality after the Second World War. And in 2014, we understand that something like that we need for Ukraine. Now, situation becomes different from the 2014 because the full war starts. And the discussion about rebuild of Ukraine gives a new momentum, let's call it so. And in approximately at the 18th of May 2022, the European Commission actually prepared the vision of how to help to Ukraine and the vision of, as for me, the Marshall Plan 2.0. Actually, in this vision, they say that there should be a long process, including probably 4 pillars, which should be actually based on the next moment. I want to read it. So, first of all, according to the vision of European Commission, the first actually pillar of that plan should be rebuild country, in particular infrastructure, health, service, hosting and schools, as well as digital and energy resilience, in line with the more recent European policies and standards. That is very important because it means that the rebuilding of Ukraine finally will be a part of European way to European Union. So it should not be 2 different processes. It should be the same process when Ukraine could become a European Union member due to this actually plan. It's very important. Second pillar is continue moderating the state and its institution to ensure good governance and respect for the rule of law by providing administrative capacity support and technical assistance, including to regional and local level. Third third pillar, according to European Commission proposition, was implementing a significant and regulatory agenda with aim of deepening the economic and social integration of Ukraine and its people with European Union in line with the European path. Actually, it means deepening integration, that is so plus. And finally, fourth pillar was support the recovery of Ukraine, its economy, and the social by promoting sustainable and inclusive economic competitiveness, sustainable trade, and private sector development with contribution to the green and digital transition of the country. It means that Ukraine should be a part of Green Deal and the main European policies. As for governing of this project, actually it was a question that I hear at the start of this panel, according to European Commission, it should be two organs that actually will organize the process. It will be the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine and European Commission. I think that that is so important that the European Commission will be one of the parts that will organize the process, and they will lead this process, and it's very important. As for budget of this process, they including both money from countries that will have moved to Ukraine. It means G7, G20, some G20 countries, international organization, and it's very important money that now, let's call it so, freeze from Russian assets. It's very important that Russia so paid for this war by their assets, and their assets will work for future rebuild of Ukraine. I think that it's absolutely a great idea, and it will be nice if finally this plan will be realized. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very interesting your point of view. Please, if you can remain with us also, maybe we have some questions, and your intervention will be a very, very important one. Mai departe, o să vă rog.
Now I will kindly ask you to move on to Professor BUTA, Senior Partner Popescu and Asociații, Attorneys at Law. Now, with respect to the reconstruction of Ukraine, what's your viewpoint? I would like to thank the professor for the introduction. I would like also to thank New Strategy Center for having organized this event and for inviting me to express my ideas related to the topic of this conference. If you allow me, I will try to focus your attention on a different topic, a secondary one. These days, the discussions in the panels focused on economic, administrative coordinates and military coordinates of the reconstruction of Ukraine. Those are essential components of the process, indeed. However, from the very beginning, I would like to emphasize that in this general context, the legal component is just as important, and neglecting this component in the ongoing process, a process that will further develop, neglecting it, and if we have the state actors and private enterprises that neglect it, they will make a big mistake. This mistake can lead to a failure or a delay in the reconstruction and the reduction of the investment efforts. Both governmental actors and private actors need to take into account the fact that this reconstruction process is rolled out in an international legal framework, but also in a national legal framework, Ukrainian, respectively, of the country involved in the reconstruction. And this legal framework needs to be well known. and adapted accordingly or amended accordingly in order not to obstacle the reconstruction process, but to stimulate this effort, the investment efforts and administrative efforts for the reconstruction. I see these efforts to reconstruct Ukraine as being twofold. Yeah, my vision is pretty schematic. We have, on the one hand, the governmental players that should focus on remodeling the legal framework within which the reconstruction is taking place, the international legal framework and also the national legal framework. But on the other hand, private investors should also be interested in knowing the legal framework in which they will operate and knowing it thoroughly in order to know what to ask from the governmental actors, because maybe some legal amendments are required and these should be demanded by the private players from the governmental actors. Thank you very much. Thank you for mentioning the military component. This is highly important, if not the most important. And we have General Daniel Petrescu here in the audience, and we would like to take the opportunity and salute him. The general is the former chief of staff of the Romanian army, so a huge personality in the military field. And for the moment, his interest maybe will stir towards the business environment. Now I would like to invite Mr. WOJDYGA, Deputy Director, Center for Strategic Studies, Warsaw Enterprise Institute. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for New Strategy Center for invitation to beautiful Sinaia. I was here 25 years ago, so I cannot recognize the town. It's completely, so many things change in Romania as well as in Poland. So if you probably were in Poland about 20 years ago, you cannot recognize the country. And it's of course thanks to European Union and the funds from European Union, but as well our, let's say, internal business attitude of Polish society. So again, thank you. We are talking about the reconstruction of Ukraine. I am representing the Warsaw Enterprise Institute, which is one of the biggest independent think tanks in Poland, devoted to the defense of individual freedom and freedom of economy. So we are trying to work with companies, we are trying to work with businesses, but as well with public authorities. As issue of and the war in Ukraine was a very important, it's a strategical point of interest of Poland and the whole region. We are also as a think tank involved in a number of projects for Ukraine. One of them we are just going to finish was called Service of Reconstruction of Ukraine. And the main idea was to create the network of contacts with the local authorities and trying to connect them with the companies wish to invest, Polish companies wish to invest in Ukraine and doing businesses in Ukraine. As a result, we prepared a special guidebook for Polish companies wish to invest in Western Ukraine. We also made a survey for the local authorities in Western Ukraine. We sent our survey to about 500 hromadas, so this lowest level of administration, about their interest in participating in reconstruction with collaboration with Polish partners, the sources of funding for such activities, and the results were really interesting. Unfortunately, we do not publish it in English, but maybe we'll publish it in English. As we are talking about the reconstruction of Ukraine, it's we don't like the word reconstruction. We prefer the word modernization. Because it's not only the case of, let's say, rebuilding destroyed infrastructure by Russians. So it's not only the case. Being in Kiev 1 month ago, I was crossing the famous river of Irpin in the town of Irpin, which was huge, destroyed by Russia in the beginning of war. And the famous bridge in Irpin is already reconstructed by the Turkish company, by the way. So it's not only the case of just rebuilding houses, bridges, roads, so on, but we more think it's this process of modernization we consider as a process of having Ukraine as a modern, technically developed and linked with many European countries, European Union, other organizations with many ties. That's our understanding of this process. We can say that Ukraine, maybe better it's to say that Ukrainian nation forced their authority to choose this European way of development, to join the European structures. And our aim should be to support this European approach. But I'm not talking about the European approach only as being the member of the European Union, but in broader sense, as being the part of Western civilization. That's also why we decided in our activity as a Warsaw Enterprise Institute to concentrate on the Western Ukraine because of many historical, political and social proximity of our countries and in this region. So this part are the most, for hundreds of years we have many ties between our nations and our society. We were talking also about the big money which should come to Ukraine. Yes, we had the conference in Lugano, in London, in Paris. It was said that we also like to talk about millions, billions, even trillions dollars, euros. We like such a big money, but I really do not believe in a very big influence of this public money and public projects. So. Of course, some investment from political reasons will be funded definitely, but I don't really believe in that they will serve of a healthy economy of this country. So I more believe in a private funds which should come to Ukraine, but of course under some conditions. We have some conditions. Of course, the main condition is, let's say, the clear prospect for an ending of war. Another one is military and political stability of the country, because without military and political stability of the country, we can expect we can encourage only the speculative or short-term capital to come to the country to get their benefits and disappear. Well, in Ukraine currently we have many Polish companies, which decided, some of them 10 years ago or 15 years ago, to invest in Ukraine. Currently we have more than 660 companies, Polish companies. Many of them are middle or big size companies. It's worth to mention that no of the Polish companies decided to withdraw or to suspend their activities after the start of a full-scale Russian invasion. So all of them were present all the time in Ukraine. Some of them were hit by the war. Example is a big Polish producer of plastic windows at Fakro, and in September their warehouse in Lviv was hit by missile, and it was the losses was estimated on about $10 million for all the equipment and product they have in the store. A same situation with another company near Kiev. It was their production plant was totally destroyed by Russia in March 2022. But currently Poland is biggest economical partner of Ukraine. It's hard to even understand, but in the last months we even chased China away in being the partner of Ukraine. Our authorities, they fully, well, by the way, it's a very tough moment for Poland because we have a change of government. So the former government's gone. Right now we are waiting for some decision from the new government. So it's hard to find the good person to talk about the rebuild and modernization of Ukraine. So, but I think it will stabilize in the coming weeks. But the former government created some. You mentioned the legal basis, so they create some legal basis for Polish investment in Ukraine. We have the company, state-owned company called KUKE, that's mean the Corporation of Foreign Export Insurances, and this institution. Thanks to public money, they decided to fully guarantee the insurances, 100% insurances for investment in Ukraine, which company are trying to get from the private insurance company, but the guarantee came from the state budget, and it was 100%. So it's something very new and a very modern, innovative finance instruments. By the way, the first company which applied for this guarantee is a German company, because they still in Germany do they not have such a instruments. Of course, the big problem is, and in Poland, it's lack of a big development fund. We still do not have such a big development fund, but there are some rumors that maybe the new government will create such a fund composed of 400 million euro for such a development fund. But of course we cannot compete with German or a French economy in investment in Ukraine, but of course we have our advantages. As I mentioned, this proximity of the countries, logistic advantages is the same. We know how to do the business there. Of course, successful modernization of a country must be combined with fundamental reform of the whole Ukrainian state and the whole Ukrainian economy. Still, we have a very high level of corruption in the country. We have many complaints from our entrepreneurs. Majority of legislation still come from the Soviet era. It's also a problem. We have an omnipotent and omnipresent bureaucracy. The level of IP protection is still very low. And of course, I think the biggest problem, as I mentioned, the money will find money. I no doubt, but the biggest problem we currently face, it's a problem on the labor market in Ukraine. So almost 9 million people left Ukraine, among them many specialists, and it's also the many, as I mentioned, the Polish companies, representative of companies, they complain. They have money, they want to invest, they want to enlarge their businesses, but there are no people who are ready to work there, and especially the specialists from IT, from production, and of course, very outdated infrastructure, not only the road or railway infrastructure, but also the problem with a border crossing. Probably you heard about the blockade made by Polish truck drivers on the border, and or the grain crisis we had last summer. Still, we have an embargo on Ukrainian grain in Poland. But when I look on that, I think that's a good thing is that these are not there are no political reason for such activity of a government. So I think it's a normal, let's say, trade war between the friends, as we had the Cold War between the France and Spain and UK. So it's, I think it's just a matter of sitting in bilateral terms and discuss all the things. I will summarize with that the war in Ukraine paradoxically opened the new opportunities. It's a total disappearance of Russia from the Ukrainian market and the influence of Russia, which could open the new possibilities for our companies, Polish, Romanian, and so on, but under three conditions. And these conditions are the clear plan for ending of war, internal stability, and a rational path to European Union. Thank you.
Thank you, Łukasz. Did you touch very interesting points? For sure, it's very easy to understand that the concurrence is a real one. And also we are happy that Romania already closed a strategical partner with Ukraine, and maybe this can create the real fundament for a new law, bilateral law between Ukraine and Romania, giving us, better said, giving us the opportunity and facilities to act, bilaterally speaking, to act in this more easily in this process of reconstruction of Ukraine. Sigur că
Of course, we understand all these aspects. We understand Poland's points of view. I hope Donald Tusk will get involved because he is pro-European. He is a convinced pro-European, and I do hope he will be a true support for Romania, for the EU, and for neighboring country in order to materialize the wishes of Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova to become member states of the EU. Yes. It would have been auspicious for the reconstruction of Ukraine to start in the past. But we wish our Ukrainian partners success in all their efforts. You have our full support for your journey to the EU. We were good partners, good neighbors. We were flexible. We followed this goal and materialized it. And let's hope we will bear the fruit of this endeavor. Now I give the floor to Mrs. Olha Subina Subina-Kurulenko, head of the Coordination Export Support Centers. Is she here with us?
Okay.
Good afternoon, colleagues.
Hello, Olga.
Yes.
Hello. Very nice having
Hi.
you here. I hope
Hi,
it's
really nice to meet you.
I hope that it's a good day in Kiev now to have the opportunity to discuss about these challenges for private investments in the recovery process of Ukraine. And the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. First of all, thank you from the All Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce and Industry that we can participate in this event. So it's really important for us. And I also need to say that we as the business support organization, every day we are working with the business, with their challenges. Also, we are working with the organization who support business all over the world. And right now, yes, we are currently on the stage of recovering, but we still, I'm totally agree with the previous speakers, we still faced with these war conditions, with doing business in war period, with the problems that is faced every day our companies who are working here in Ukraine, who relocate their business from the territory that were occupied by Russian Federation. And right now, I also need to say that for sure, if we are talking regarding recovering and regarding recovering stage, we need to understand that the war is finished, that we have no risks and we can work and we can just rebuild everything, and our buildings that were destroyed by the rocket attack, and we can rebuild our business also. But even in these conditions, I need to say about attractiveness of our country, attractiveness of our economy for sure. International companies are already seeking to invest in Ukraine and post-war economic recovery, and even in this time, we try to digitalize, to grow, to renovate our innovation startup system. We have a lot of companies who are working with us in this period, and also we are integrated in the EU single market. As the previous speaker said, Ukraine working and European Commission support Ukraine in doing business, support Ukraine with different programs. We also try to recover our supply chains. And right now we are working with totally different projects that support not only us as the country and support not only our business, but also support, private investment and the companies who want to invest even in these periods and who want to work with the Ukrainian companies. I need to say that right now IT sector demonstrates a high level of resilience, and IT services occupy the largest share in the structure of Ukraine service exports. Even in 2022, when we were like in the middle of the war, the Ukraine IT industry had delivered more than 7 billion of computer service exports, and increase on 5.8% over the previous year. Even during the most negative scenario, they've been able to show some growth, and it's really good. It's really high, high result. A lot of Ukrainian companies, even in this period, they try to start their export activity. I think that right now we need to understand clearly that our domestic market quite small, and we need to integrate it to the European market. We need to go, like in a global. And right now we need to export our services, need to export our growth, need to produce some products that will be totally comply with the EU legislation. So right now we are also in the process of complying our legislation, our rules and conditions of doing business to be, high appreciated on the European market. Also, that I need to say, if we are talking regarding challenges, for sure, the main challenge in Ukraine right now it's war. It's war and war conditions. And all these challenges, they also deal with the war. It's like the currency rate fluctuation, currency instability, it's uncertainty and risk aversion. It's the rocket attack, it's the risk of the rocket attack, the the problems with the electricity, the problems with the workforce. Yeah, for sure, it's not attractive, but we need to understand that right now our country, our government, we make all possible to make the good legislation for the private investment. We have a lot of structures who are working to support investment, to support also our exporters. Today also was talking about the export credit agency for can cover some expenses, who can cover some risks when in the moment of the export operations. We also discussed the investment agency, Ukraine Invest office that is working in Ukraine and try to support private investors. We also have already portfolio of countries who want to invest, who want to support recovering protests in Ukraine. And for sure, we are talking not only about reconstruction, but also about modernization, renovation, start of new Ukraine, start of the European country. It's a really, really huge and difficult process, but without this process, we will not be the part of the European Union, and this is really important for us right now. So if we will get some more support of different countries that is residents of the European Union, it will be great pleasure for us to make this process more, more faster, and to make all these processes faster and to make all these processes in the right way. So I also need to say that right now we have started a lot of different projects for the supporting of small and medium companies in Ukraine. And you know that the small and medium companies, they are just taking the 80% of all business in Ukraine. And also it's like the powerful force to support our economy. And thanks to European Commission, we have this project as the EN, European Enterprise Network, that we are coordinate from the last year. We have a lot of projects that support innovation development, that support startup development. Right now, we are working with the European Innovation Council, with the European Innovation Technology University, that is totally support our development. It's a great pleasure, and thank you a lot that we can go into the European market. Thank you a lot that support us in this different periods. Thank you.
The National Chamber of Commerce of Ukraine. Let's see which is the point of view of the representative, one of the most well-known representative of business sector from Ukraine, Mykola TIMOFEEV. It's here with us. Mykola, please, if you want to share with us some ideas.
My point of view.
And your point of view, for sure.
From the business side, you know.
Thank you. Yes,
not from the government, from the institutes. Yes.
Please, the floor is
not
yours.
from the theory, but from the practical point of view. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, yes, for the invitation. We had enjoyed this great 2 days of this discussions and also networking. That's great. Thank you so much for the invitation. So I will start to share my thoughts with the point of view that, well, not with the point, but with the information that was also provided by the Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine yesterday. Yes, so that according to the World Bank's analysis, Ukraine's losses from the full-scale invasion of Russia Federation is near more than 400 billion of dollars, and it will need the post-recovery amount of money in this way. And also we should understand that infrastructure is the most affected affected sector, yes. But even before the war's conclusion, Ukraine is now actively restoring its devastated infrastructure. I will share just a few slides with the information of our company, of who we are and why it is important right now for us to attract, from the point of view, not the company, but for Ukrainian people, to attract new investors in Ukraine. So being a leader of infrastructure construction in Ukraine, so these are this short information, this is the short information about our company, and we have already started this process of not only reconstruction, like you said, modernizing, but also rebuild Ukraine. Before the war, our main focus of our company was road and bridge construction, maintenance of highways and civil airport complex, runways and complexes. But we have refocused during the conflict. We have paid more our attention and it has shifted towards the restoration and protection of infrastructure. So right now we are responsible for the priorities during the war: construction of protective structures for energy facilities, restoration of destroyed infrastructure, elimination of consequences of the technogenic disasters, including the construction of the huge project water water supply system for the Kryvyi Rih region with a capacity of 400 cubic meters per day, and so on. Between 2022 and 2023, we have constructed dozens of strategically important bridges in Kiev, Sumy, in different regions, in all over Ukraine, that were destroyed by the war, that were destroyed during the occupation period. So additionally, we should take into consideration that the infrastructure today in Ukraine, so it was not only destroyed by the war, yes, we should understand and consider that it was also destroyed by time. So lots of bridges and lots of civil infrastructure was constructed during the Soviet era, yes, and right now it's of extreme importance to modernize it, to rebuild it, and as you said previously, you said, yes, that right now we have a great opportunity to not only reconstruct because of the war, but also to rebuild the country itself, to rebuild also the minds of people in Ukraine. I want to just give you some proofs of the situation. Actually, our company maybe had the greatest losses during the full-scale invasion. So our totally losses of assets because of the occupation because of the fights. So it was right now more than 50 million euro. Our losses of the assets. It's in the eastern part of Ukraine and southern part of Ukraine, but we should consider that we believe in our country. That's why during the war we have invested more than 10 million euro in our production facilities. So we have invested to the cranes, to the concrete plants, to the drilling machines. So more than 10 million was invested. Also, we invested to our country more than 10 million. It includes the support for specialized education, the support of our military forces, and also some social and charity projects as well. So we are already investing, and we are not afraid because we live in our country, and for sure we believe in our victory, and we hope that the war will end very soon. however, as a private investor, so I must state that there are still lots of things to be done to attract investments. It's also concerning the legislation process and problems that we have. Also, some reforms that should be finished by our government, by the parliament, and by all the authorities, as you mentioned also before. There are several issues and challenges that we are facing right now as a private company. But the main, that is not indicated here, but the main issues that we are facing is that we should take care of the safety issues and safety conditions for our people, because unfortunately, you know, so more than during the full-scale invasion, more than 700 of people were mobilized from our company to the military forces, and more than 30 of them died. So we should provide the safety conditions for our people and the safety of our employees, the health of our employees is the main thing that we are taking care about right now. And afterwards, all these economic things. So, of course, the main just few words about it. So the main issue is the guarantee of the private investments to be returned. So right now, according to the restrictions of the National Bank, so the private investor, he cannot return. He cannot return his contribution to the economy, and he cannot return even the dividends, you know. So the National Bank, so maybe last week we had the conference also in Kiev, and the president of the National Bank, he told, yes, we are planning next year, so we are planning to liberalize this restriction. First of all, currency restrictions, yes, for the investors. So we hope that it will be a great opportunity if they will liberalize, so the investor will be guaranteed to return his money, first of all, from the country that he is investing to. There should be also, yesterday there was some discussion about the PPP projects in Ukraine, but we are still waiting for the draft law to be accepted by the parliament. It's 7508, the draft law for the PPP. It's a new law because the old one, so it doesn't meet all the requirements from the investors. So we are waiting for it. We are waiting for the ending of pressure of business from the law enforcement agencies, including the Bureau of Economic Security. It should be restarted because nobody will come to Ukraine. Of course, we are always ready, and we are adapted to the things. But I don't think that private investors from abroad, they will be really glad about this pressure. So we are waiting for it. And also there should be a system for the guarantees and the insurance of military risk should be introduced in a full-scale understanding of this situation, because right now there are also some talks in the government and also everywhere, but no tough results are still gained. And the sixth point is the guarantee for the private investor who is coming. Right now, during the full-scale invasion, during the war, he has to have the guarantees for reservation of labor forces, of leading specialists from the service in the military forces. That's a great problem right now. So, finalizing, yes, I would like to say that, of course, lots of things are now doing by the government and also by the parliament. They are doing a lot, but we need the fast results and we need the fast investments in Ukraine. We don't have time. We should think about tomorrow, today. not tomorrow. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Interesting point of view, and because we don't have too much time at the disposal, I will start the session of Q&A, and I will start with you, Mykola. Why? Because you touch a very interesting point about the PPP project. It's an amendment of the old law in Ukraine, which I know that few days ago already passed the first reading, and we have as an expectation to pass the second reading and to become a real law, because I believe in PPP as a strategy of Ukraine regarding of the process of reconstruction. But what do you think about the joint ventures, the role of the joint ventures as a modality of work with the foreign companies in the process of reconstruction of Ukraine, if you tell us?
I think that it's a best option for sure to make and to create the joint venture, for example, with the international companies. And we had such an experience when participating in the bidding procedures, in tenders and everything else, because the main thing is that the international company, when coming to Ukraine, so it can contribute lots of technologies, it can contribute financing, it can contribute its experience. Yes, first of all. And from the side of the local company, so we have our experience, we have our expertise in the Ukrainian market, in communicating with local authorities, with the ESG issues, land issues, and everything else. So I think that it's a best option and the best solution for international company to come and to find in its branch, in its sphere, to find the best company to cooperate with.
Yes, thank you very much, Mykola. Very interesting point of view. I am sharing with you all the interest for these joint ventures. I think will be the real modality to work together. Doamnelor și domnilor, vreau să ne întoarcem
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to go back to the fact that nobody expected or wanted this war, not Romania for sure, but Romania has to adopt an economic strategy and adapt it to the strategy for the reconstruction of Ukraine and the modus vivendi that shall follow under the umbrella of the EU. Which do you consider to be the new economic strategy for Romania? Or do you think we need such a strategy? Yes, the answer is yes. I want to confirm to you all that within our agency we launched these processes to debate about this strategy on the two components I mentioned, the investment strategy and the foreign trade strategy. These two will be the institutional documents of reference that shall identify actions to prioritize our steps forward. Because if you analyze the foreign investments Romania made in Ukraine, they don't exceed 40 million euros. So they are very small. But with the help of this strategy, we will prioritize sectors of activity in order to focus our economic diplomacy on them. I believe the new diplomacy for sustainable development will be a master plan for Romania. Do you think that the momentum changes the paradigm? Yes, yes. So if we are to quote economic theories, after turbulence, economic and political turbulence, When you start the reconstruction process, opportunities are huge. Let's not forget 1945 till 1975, Europe had the same economic growth as Far East. Italy had severe economic problems before Second World War, but became a member of G7. Germany, France had the same path, and these are eloquent examples that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, without investment, we can't make step forwards, but without the legal framework, we can't either. And we were mentioning the changes of the Ukrainian legal framework. I would like to invite Professor BUTA to share with us his opinion about the need to make legislative amendments for the reconstruction process, but also for the need of legislative compatibility between Ukraine as a new EU member state and the rest of the EU. Thank you for allowing me to revise certain aspects I let aside in my presentation. Let's not forget that in Ukraine right now, we don't have a European legal framework or a legal framework similar to the EU. Obviously, we need to prepare for the reconstruction process and the modernization process. In this context, since in the past 2 days there were indirect reproaches because there is weak legislation on public procurement or intellectual property or labor and labor relations. In order to have a lot of investments, the modernization of fiscal legislation is needed and of banking legislation, because we need to guarantee private property ownership. So state actors and governmental actors need to step up and give a helping hand to help this process modernize. We hope today or tomorrow Ukraine will receive the status of candidate country for the EU accession. But this will have an impact over legal aspects, because once it becomes a candidate country, Ukraine needs to transpose the EU acquis in the Ukrainian legislation. For that, consultancy is needed and external consultancy is needed. From this point of view, Romania and Poland are good options to provide this consultancy. I have taken part in the negotiation of Chapter 24 on justice. I was a judge in the Supreme Court, and I know how difficult that negotiation was. This is why I'm saying Ukraine needs to hire external consultants such as Romania or Poland or other EU member states. One needs to understand that the modernization of the country's legislation, the entire process can be started immediately. One doesn't need to wait for the war to end or to freeze. The process can be started because it doesn't presuppose huge logistical efforts or financial effort. It requires administrative capacities, support from the partners, and political mobilization. And Romania can provide consultancy and support for that. I have one more question. You represent legal office. You came here together with Mr. Octavian Popescu, who is also a senior partner at Popescu and Asociații Attorneys at Law. Do we have the flexibility and the necessary openness so that the legal consultancy environment in Romania through various legal offices to provide the Ukrainian partners advice and support in their process? Yes, we are already doing that. Our office is already doing that, and probably other colleagues of ours have started doing that also. We are in touch with Ukrainian lawyers for some exchanges. We have Ukrainian translators involved to facilitate communication between us, and we are in touch with the authorities and with regional organizations such as county councils in Romania that are at the border with Ukraine, and we are supporting them to implement joint projects together with Ukrainian partners. There are important companies that are developing business in Ukraine, but are concerned only about unblocking the frozen Russian assets in Ukraine. They are less concerned about facilitating Romanian investments in Ukraine or facilitating Ukrainian companies to sell their products in Romania or to trade with Romania and other countries. Thank you very much, Mr. BUTA. I am convinced your legal office will be a leader in providing consultancy. Łukasz, one question for you. We are also neighboring Ukraine. We are in the same proximity position with Ukraine, just as you are. We are interested in your opinion about the states involved in the reconstruction process and the transformation of Ukraine after the war. You will be a power engine and a hub for many countries across the world. Are we, neighboring states, in the right position to accept Ukraine also as a power engine from an economic perspective here in the region, as a big economic power here in the region?
Well, a lot was said by Professor BUTA here on this creating the legal basis on Ukraine accession to the EU. So this is the most important thing for now. So that the decision will be taken tomorrow or the next day. But our Ukrainian friends should remember that this process will not last 1 or 2 years, so it's impossible to access to European Union. All we know how the process of accession looks like, how many areas of interest. There are about 32 or 35 areas of economy to be discussed between Ukraine, the whole Commission and every European country. So the process, it's great that the process will start, but unfortunately it will last. As we remember, how many this process lasts for when Poland or Romania joined the European Union. In Polish example, it was, as far as I remember, it was 11 years. So I don't know. But probably it's. Exactly, so it was the same with Romania. So, of course, as I mentioned, the Poland as a nearest neighbor to Ukraine, we have this logistic advantage. For now, many Western companies, they decided to build their attachments very near to the border. Of course, we should also mention that many companies in Ukraine, they moved from the east to the west, and they are located in this former, mainly agriculture part of Ukraine, of the western Ukraine. They decided to move because of a near border of European Union, of this. It's far from front line, and we are really expecting having the Ukraine the good partner. Of course, in many areas will the competitors. It's undoubtedly, as in agriculture, in transport and logistics, as we are fighting right now in these trade wars. But I think it's good for a whole environment, European environment, and also we'll find the areas in which we can cooperate even closer than now.
For sure, competition create the real success. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much, each of our special guests. Was a very interesting session. Thank you very much, Gheorghe Scutaru, for this wonderful event. Ladies and gentlemen, allowed me to close the session of this interesting discussion and panel, and to invite you for the lunch. Thank you very much, all of you.